Ulm, after studying billion-dollar companies and also celebrities, but particularly the companies like Coca-Cola, Walmart, Walgreens, Toyota, and so many more off of the Fortune 500 list, what becomes obvious is they are not starting their companies, nor are they naming their companies accidentally or coincidentally. They're not just like, let's found the company on this day, let's just name it that. That's clearly not what they're doing. They all share what I call success symmetry. Many of them share the exact same numbers, especially those who are at the top of the Fortune 500 company. They're doing things extremely precisely. These people, the elites, have access to the information that has been kept hidden from the public. That's how they have gained to power. That's how they've been maintaining their power. And that's how they are trying to hold on to their power, which they're not going to be able to. But this is what they're doing. So if you study how they're doing these corporations, if you study the celebrities who are definitely using this as well, you're going to understand very, very clearly that there are intentions. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. How can you use this? The whole point is to keep this really simple. When you do something matters. Just like when you plant a seed, that seed is a potential. If you plant a seed for a tomato, you're going to get a tomato plant. If you do something at a certain time, it creates a certain trajectory. It imprints it. So it's no mistake some of these companies, and after all the companies I've studied, Coca-Cola by and far is the most impressive. Whatever numerologist designed that for that company was a master numerologist. That date that they used won't even come around again to get that exact same date until 2705. There are some extremely magical dates. There's some this year, there's some next year, because I keep an eye on these things. I'm looking for them because I'm also founding things as well, and I have people that I'm working with who are founding things. There are some incredible times that don't come around a lot. And if you know how to harness these times, you can impregnate, you can imprint your seed, whatever that is, something that you want a trajectory for, a marriage, a pregnancy, founding a company or business or an organization, a career, anything that you want to have a lasting success for. It could be something as mundane as starting a new diet, starting a new health plan, when to do that correctly, when to launch your product, program, or service. All these things are done with numerology. Yes, there's astrology, but numerology, in my opinion, supersedes astrology, because in order to even understand astrology, you have to understand the numbers. 9 planets, 12 houses, 12 signs, 27 stars, 360 degrees, all the divisional charts if you're using Vedic astrology, the calculations to even calculate the chart. It's all mathematics. All the languages in the world are coded to numbers. They're all based on mathematics. It's the universal code. It's a universal language that unlocks all of the systems because it's at the core. That's why in the movie The Matrix you see them, which is loaded with truths. You see the operators, so-called, when the team goes into the Matrix to do whatever operation they're doing. What are those guys doing? They're looking at a screen with numbers falling down. That's like the destiny rose in Chaldean numerology, which is what I use. Chaldean numerology primarily. I also use something called Akkada numerology, and some other things as well. It's important to know this, and in order to do this, you first have to understand your numbers. You have to understand your birthday numbers, some of the key calculations. And the most important one for beginners, for general things, is your day, what day you were born on. Now, this is oversimplifying because Chaldean, unlike Pythagorean numerology, 100% uses compound numbers. It means instead of, say, 23, Pythagorean would say, oh, it's a 5, but Chaldean says, no, it's not a normal 5, it's a 23. And within that 23, it's like a zip file that unwinds itself through something called a 9-diamond system. And I'm not going to bore you with all the information unless you're a number nerd. And if you are, leave a comment underneath this video if you want to learn more about those things. But all that to say, to keep it really simple, take your day of birth and reduce it to a single digit. And then for doing things, do important things like meetings or like a haircut or something like a business interview, or maybe whatever it is, something important. Do it on days that add to that same thing. So let's say you're born the 10th. 1 plus 0 is 1. You're going to want to do things on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, and the 28th. This is generally simple. You can also use your name vibration. I recommend you use Chaldean numerology to calculate that name because, in my opinion, Chaldean numerology is more accurate. Pythagorean's also great. They can do great things, but in my opinion, Chaldean is more accurate. Calculate your name. At least do your first name and see if it matches up with your birthday. If you have a match, that's great. If not, then you can also experiment. You have to pay attention. Look at that digit number with your first name and see how your life happens on those days. See how your life happens on the days of your birth as well. Now, this is oversimplifying, but this is going to give you a start. If you want to learn more about your numbers, you can check out my other videos. I also have a Substack, which I'll put a link underneath this video. You may be watching this on Substack, and if you are, you can check out my archives. Now, if you'd like to get a reading, you need to go to my website at almra.com, and I can share with you exactly what you need to know. I'm doing destiny readings now. I'm doing time readings to show you your destiny rose and how to align with time, because here's the deal. Most people are groping in darkness in the sense of they're doing things without knowing what to do and when to do it. Why are the elites have been able to amass so much power and money? Because, like them or not, they are studying and using time to their advantage. Time is a dynamic movement, and it's impregnated with energies. It's like a wave. If you know how to surf the wave and use time to your advantage, you can have outrageous success like these billion-dollar companies. Some say there's people with trillions like BlackRock and the Rothschilds and names like this. They're throwing the number of trillions around with them. They are not mistakes. They get even to that position. They know how to use and work with nature. That's the whole point. They are using time to their advantage, and they're also using naming conventions to their advantage. So when you take the right date and then you pair that with the perfect name like Coca-Cola, that pulls the best gifts of the time of the day that you founded the company, for example, into the name chart, which is affecting what you're attracting, a finer mundane destiny, what's happening here and now, your personality, your charisma, your cash flow, how people are perceiving you, your ability to influence. This is all coming from the name chart. And if your name chart is off, it's going to mess up the essence chart. It's going to amplify certain imbalances and make it highly potential for problems. For example, I did a reading with a woman, and she was doing okay, and she changed her name after a legal marriage. After she changed her name, 9 years later, when that number popped up in her destiny rose, she had a heart attack. I have a whole case study on this, which you can check out on my Substack. It's really, really worth looking at because it shows you a real-world example of the power of names, and there are many, many more. For example, Hulk Hogan. I happened to do a case study on him as well recently about his death, and that his death wasn't a mistake. Now, I don't really believe in death, so I'm not really scared of death. I don't really believe anybody dies. I believe they just change forms and move on, and in some cases, they're in an alternate version of the world. That's a side topic, and if you want to hear more about that, leave a comment below. I will digress for now. However, if you look at Hulk Hogan, he's another one of these guys like Coca-Cola. Back in the day, he was, at one point, I believe, the most recognizable celebrity in the entire world. Everybody around the world knew who Hulk Hogan was, his face. He was the face of WWE in its prime, its golden era. And the whole world knew Hulk Hogan. That yellow hair, that big smile, the yellow t-shirt, the little bandana, that was Hulk Hogan. If you look at his chart, you can see what made him a mega celebrity. And you can see, his real name is Terry. And he's got a 3 name. It's a Terry something Bollea. Somebody he got that name Hulk Hogan. Now, you could say, oh, it was just a lucky coincidence. Maybe. But if you start observing the celebrities and you start observing these companies, you start to see, hold on a second, maybe one was a coincidence. But the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, these guys are all using similar numbers. Hulk Hogan, in his chart, you can see what made him a mega celebrity. And I'll give you a little nugget on that. You have to go watch the video. It's coming from the numbers, a combination of the number 37 and the number 17 in his name chart, which was born out of the name Hulk Hogan. In other words, if he didn't change or go by that name Hulk Hogan, it would have changed his success. It would have changed his visibility. He wouldn't have been as popular as Terry Bollea. He needed to take that name Hulk Hogan. That's why many actors and other people take stage names. It's not just to sound better. They're using numerology. That's why. They're using numerology. And not only that, the name change is happening during a certain time as well. It's not a random time. They're using this information to their advantage. It's now time for the main population, the general population, to start using this to their advantage. People who are good, people who have good intentions, who are going to use it for helping the world. If you're one of those people, I want to work with you because I have information that could take your life to the next level, that can make your business extremely successful. I have that information. You need to come to my website, check out my description, or at least send me an email, send me a discussion. Let's start talking because we're going to change the world and we're going to be using this information to our advantage for the good, for the light. Okay, questions, comments, leave them underneath this video. Like it if you found it useful so other people can find it in their newsfeed. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and subscribe so you receive notifications for when I release more information that is for your benefit. As always, wishing you the best. Happy manifesting. God bless. Om.